Hi, I'm Mike, PokeTips Mike, and it's time for a new adventure! Welcome to Episode 0, the beginning of my Pokemon HeartGold and Soul Silver Extreme Randomizer Nuzlocke. This, my friends, is going to be an incredible journey throughout the Johto and Kanto regions like you've never seen before. And personally, I'm super excited to start playing these. I love these games. Gold was my first Pokemon game ever, and HeartGold and Soul Silver, I remember when they first came out, I ran to the store like day one, I still have the boxes, I even ordered Soul Silver from Japan, so you guys can tell I really like these games. And playing it as one of my extreme randomizers, oh, we're gonna have a good time. So in this episode, Episode 0, we're kind of going to go over the basics. I'm going to explain what an extreme randomizer is, and also at the end of the episode, I'm going to have you guys vote and choose my starter Pokemon. So make sure you watch all the way to the end of the video so you can vote and tell me which starter to pick. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, for those of you that don't know, I get this question all the time. Nuzlockes are basically a fan-made challenge that you could put on yourself to make the games a little bit more challenging. There's generally a few major rules to Nuzlockes. Number one, and probably the most important rule out of them all, is any Pokemon that faints is considered dead and totally unusable. Some random trainer knock out your starter Pokemon in Violet City, it's dead, you can't use it anymore. This generally makes the games a lot more challenging, because normally in a regular playthrough, if your Pokemon faints, it's not really anything you have to worry about. You can just go to the Pokemon Center, use a revive, heal it back up, and boom, you're ready to go. But in a Nuzlocke challenge, once your Pokemon faints, you can't use it anymore. So you gotta be very careful and very strategic in your battles. Now, number two, another very important Nuzlocke rule. The first Pokemon you encounter on each route is the Pokemon you can catch. Any other Pokemon you encounter after that, you can't catch at all. This generally makes it so you can't really control what you use on your team and adds a little bit of challenge because of that. Although it does suck when you're playing a randomizer, you run into something kind of cool, and then a few encounters later you see a Shadow Mewtwo that you can't catch. The third major Nuzlocke rule is you can only play the game on set difficulty. This basically removes the switch advantage, where the game tells you, oh, this trainer is about to bring in a Dragonite, would you like to switch your Pokemon? No, you're facing the Dragonite, and if you want to switch, you gotta use one of your turns. And last but not least, kind of a bonus rule, every Pokemon that you catch has to be nicknamed. This kind of makes it so you have a connection with all your Pokemon and makes it even more tragic when they die in battles. So that's it for the major Nuzlocke rules, but as always, I play with a few extra ones just to make my life a little bit better. Number one, I'm going to play with Shiny Clause. Basically, if I encounter a shiny Pokemon and it's not my usual encounter, I get to catch it anyway. I'm not running away from a shiny just because some Nuzlocke rules tell me to. And number two, we're going to be playing with Dupes Clause. Basically, every Pokemon I catch must be unique. Let's say I catch a Rattata, and then later on in the game, my encounter is going to be another Rattata. Well, in that situation, I'm going to be able to run away from the Rattata and get a new encounter instead, because I don't want to have a team full of the same Pokemon. The Dupes Clause also applies to any other Pokemon in its family, so if I catch a Rattata, and then later on I run into a Raticate, I don't have to catch the Raticate, instead I could get a new encounter. Again, I just like this rule because it keeps everything unique. It does come in handy sometimes. So now that we know all about the Nuzlocke side of things, let's talk about the randomizer, what makes it extra fun. Now, a randomizer, if you don't already know, is exactly what it sounds like. It basically makes everything in the game random. All wild Pokemon, all trainers Pokemon, totally random. I love this because it always makes it so you never know what you're gonna see next. But I'm not just playing a regular old randomizer, I'm playing an extreme randomizer, so let me explain what that is. I'm taking the difficulty of this game to the max. So first things first, we're playing with some pretty interesting randomizer settings. All the movesets for every Pokemon in the game are going to be totally randomized. Now they are going to lean more towards giving Pokemon moves that are the same type as them, so a Charmander would be more likely to have fire type moves, but they are going to be totally randomized, and we're never going to know what we're going to end up seeing. In addition to that, I'm playing with something I've never played with before. We're playing with randomized evolutions. I set it up so when my Pokemon try to evolve, they're going to randomly evolve into something else that shares the same type. So you know how Charmander normally evolves into Charmeleon, then Charizard? Well, in this, when my Charmander tries to evolve, it can evolve into any fire type in the game. The randomized evolution is more likely to have similar stats to what it would normally evolve into, but again, it could be totally random. So imagine this, my Charmander evolving into a Moltres. That would be pretty weird. In addition, we'll be seeing some cool Pokemon textures and mods and lots of other fun stuff, so we're gonna have a really good time here. Now on the difficulty side of things, all important trainers in the game, like your rival, gym leaders, champions, boss battles, any of that stuff, they're gonna have full teams of 6. Every trainer in the game has their levels increased by about 10%, with some gym leaders and stuff having their levels boosted a little bit more. And to go with that, I'm gonna be playing with an item limit. Now in the past, I've limited myself to 6 items, then down to 3, but here, I think I'm up for a challenge. I'm gonna limit myself to only 1 item per battle. This is going to be tough because I know for a fact there are going to be some trainers in the game that use a lot more items than just 1, but I really want to test out my skills as a trainer in this run and see if I can get through it using only 1 item. I'm probably going to hate myself later on for imposing this rule. And on top of all that good stuff, I have so much fun stuff planned for this randomizer, so many surprise little things that we'll just have to wait and see. As you can see already, I decided to play as the girl this time. I'm always playing as the guy in Pokemon games. I want to give the girl some love too. But we're not going to be playing as the normal girl in this game, Lyra. No, we're going to be going back to the original Pokemon girl, Chris. I was so surprised when they didn't bring Chris back in HeartGold and Soul Silver originally, so playing around in this game as Chris is going to be pretty cool. So at this point, I think I pretty much covered all the basics. I'll have anything else I might have forgotten down in the description below, but now let's get to the most important part, choosing the starter Pokemon. So as you can probably already tell from the thumbnail, the game gave us 3 different choices for starter Pokemon. Metang, or Metang, hopefully if you guys choose that one, I'll be able to pronounce it correctly, Drifloon, and Kangaskhan. Honestly, all 3 of those Pokemon make pretty interesting choices. I'm not going to say anything because I want you guys to choose for me. Just keep in mind that the evolutions will be randomized, so if you choose Metang thinking we'll get a Metagross, we might not. So my friends, leave a comment down below and tell me which starter Pokemon you want me to choose, and whichever one gets the most votes will be the Pokemon that I take. Thanks so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you're excited to see the start of this randomizer, and my friends, I'll see you very soon with episode 1.